Hello everyone. I hope I'm audible. Okay. Please ping me in the chat. Yes, cool. So what we'll do, we'll just wait for 5 more minutes. I think other students are joining. Then we can get started. Okay. So good evening, everyone. Uh, so myself, Anirban Dash. Okay. So I'll be taking your revision session on OOPS today. Okay. So coming to myself, I am having actually 8 years of experience in web development area, and currently I am also working as a more technical lead in L&T. Okay. So let's make this session interactive because it's a revision session. I believe all of you already have on class regarding OOPS. So what we'll do, I'll be going with one section. Okay, I'll be talking on this section. I'll be giving some input. Then you guys can ask me one by one question, or any confusion you are having, or any doubts you are having. We'll be solving those in the class. Okay. So whenever you have any doubt or you want to talk, just raise your hand. I'll enable you so that we can do it more manageable way. Okay. Okay. So today the revision session is for OOPS. So that is a very crucial and very important part of today's programming language era. Okay. So let me just share my screen. Okay. I believe you can see the screen also. Okay. So when the programming language introduced, so that time we have one kind of language that's called procedural language. Okay. So that time what we need to do, suppose you think about the C. So what you need to do, you just write the code and you execute, it will run. So you don't need to follow any proper structure, don't need to do any measurement. Okay. So that was the first era of your programming. So but after that, what happens, if I am doing a programming, you are also doing a programming, my fellow, all the team members are doing a programming, and everyone is actually writing code his own style. Okay, everyone will keep on writing his own kind of code, and at point of time, it will leads many issue. Okay, it will leads the code structural issue. Code will be different structure in different phases. It will be a security threat also, because all the members will not know what the security measures I have taken. Okay, so this many kind of issue will arise. Okay, to overcome those issue, we need to have a strict rule there. Okay, so that if I am doing a programming, so I need to follow this rule. So that's where this object oriented concept comes into the picture. So object oriented programming, the name only suggests the definition what. So it is a programming which is mostly object based. Okay. So today we are going to talk about object oriented programming in JavaScript. Okay. So it's JavaScript is the not only programming language which is object oriented. Okay. There are Java that is strictly object oriented. There is C++ which is object oriented. Nowadays, any modern language you see that will be supported by object orientation. Okay, so if you go to the move to the world of object orientation also, there are also two things. One is strictly object oriented, one is loosely coupled. Okay, JavaScript is not a strictly object oriented. So what do you mean by strictly object oriented? Strictly object oriented mean whenever you are doing a code on that language, you need to follow the object oriented pattern given by this language. Okay, so if you think about Java, even if you want to write a hello world, you need to create a class. You need to call this class inside, call the class wrapper function. Then only you will be able to do it. Okay, so to do a single line code also, you need to write 4 5 line code, because you need to follow this object oriented pattern. In case of JavaScript, it's not strictly object oriented. Okay, but when you are doing a programming for a project or for in a real life programming, we should follow the object orientation. Okay, but you know that in JavaScript, if you do the console.log and you put hello world, it will print. Okay, so that's how JavaScript is not a strict object orientation. Okay, any query on that? Anyone is having any query before I move to the next part? Cool. So if no one is having query, let me just open the chat also. Cool. Fine. Now let's dig down into the object oriented of JavaScript. Okay. So as I already mentioned, if you think about the object orientation, okay. So what comes into your mind first? First comes the what comes in my mind is object. Okay. And JavaScript is also supporting object. So what is my first requirement to know or to step into the object oriented programming in JavaScript? I need to have an understanding of objects. Okay. Now, what is JavaScript object? JavaScript object is nothing but a key value pair. Okay. Suppose I am creating an object. So object is basically a set of key value pair. What is this? Suppose I am having a name, that is a key, and colon, I am having my name. Okay. Suppose I am having another property, put a comma, I'm having another property, designation. Okay. What is my designation here? I'm an educator, so this will be educator. Okay. So this is a JavaScript object typically looks like. Okay. Let's just be a const. If I want to do obj is equal to this. So the object or obj that I named, that becomes a object. Okay. So this is the base concept we need to know before we start about something about a object oriented programming language. Okay. So this is called object. So clear? Object, what is object? Object is nothing but a set of key value pair. Okay. Now, how do I create an object in JavaScript? So you guys are already stepped into the JavaScript, so you know that how to create an object. And I also shared, just write down the object thing. Okay. And now what we'll do, we'll be doing this object, creating on dummy object together. Okay. Let's just move to the JS fiddle. All of you can see my JS fiddle. Okay, there are different idea or different way we can create object in JavaScript. So we'll first go to the very base way, which is the which you'll be doing mostly when you are actually doing a real life coding also. What is that? You have a const. Let's give a name, whatever I told. Okay. And let's just create a object. So let's just give a proper name. Suppose I'll give a name student. Okay. So you have a student and student is an object. Now let's have some property in it. So it can be a name. Name, what is the name? Name is suppose let's take a name as I'm just taking any one of your name, Nilanjan. Okay, let's take a name Nilanjan. Okay, now next what is the designation? So Nilanjan is a student, so I can write student. This is my designation. Okay, and what I can do here, subjects. So Nilanjan is actually studying in re-level, so he may opt it for some of the subject. Some of them are can be JS. He has JS in his knowledge. He also want to learn suppose called CSS. Okay. He also want to learn suppose Node.js. So there can be multiple. So what I have done in the first, I have defined one string. This is also a string, and in subjects I can define an array also. So what is the conclusion here? So when I'm having a key value pair, this value is not strict to any data type. I can have any data type here. Okay, but the keys are always a string. These keys are always string. Okay, remember this one. So that is the key property. Sometime you will get an MCQ also. Which one? See, can I create a object key with an array? No. Object keys are always what? Always a string. Okay, clear? Okay. Next, we'll go with the some small thing about object. Okay. So I told you there is one way to create object is to using the student using this curly bracket. If you do a curly bracket, object will get created. Okay. There are another interesting way to create an object using the new keyword. Okay. Now, what is a new keyword? Okay. So you all of you already have studied, I believe. Can anyone tell me what is new keyword? What is new? Anyone want to volunteer? Anyone know what is new keyword? Uh, Create a new object, constructor. No, para constructor is different. Okay, new keyword is different. What is the use of new keyword? To declare a object? No, not declare a object. Create a new thing from old. I don't think that's also a correct. Prototype? No, 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 no. You are now going in a beyond way, Sharad. Prototype is different. Okay, we'll talk about this in this class also. New can create new memory space in new memory space in memory. Okay, so Deeps, if you want to tell it that way, tell it new can occupy a new memory new space in memory. Okay, so no object. Remember, when you are actually answering any answer to, you are now a technical guy. Okay, if you give a wrong word, that will mean a no wrong thing also. Okay, your programming or whatever the programming, whatever the any language of programming you are doing, no one can create memory. Memory is a physical object. Okay, you can occupy memory or you can block a memory. Okay, so never tell create a new memory. Tell occupy a memory space, occupy a space in memory. Okay, fine. So that is the base level thing, Deep. I want to know about the JavaScript perspective. Okay, so in JavaScript perspective, what we tell it, new is used to instantiate an object. Okay, or create an instance of an object. Okay, so using new also I can create an object. How I'm doing to do that? Suppose const student, same thing I'm going to create. Student is equal to new object. Okay, Object is a keyword that instantiate. Constructor, yes, you'll do the same. I'll come to that later point. Okay. New is not a constructor. Okay. New is used to call a constructor. Okay. So know the difference. New keyword is used to call a constructor. Okay. And what, yes, what is an instance? I'll go. New is used to create a constructor. So new is used using a constructor, it can instance an object. What is an instance? Okay, so instance, what is instance? Already, actually, just some time ago, Deep has told. Okay, instance means you are occupying a memory space. Okay, that is called an instance. Okay, suppose in raw language, suppose I am creating an object, and for that I need a 5-bit of memory. Whenever you are doing student new object, it will go to the memory and occupy 5 bit of space. Okay, now whatever I'm doing going to do with this 5 bit of space, that is my understanding. Now I'm going to do that one. Okay, so now in this case, it's a blank object. Blank object is not having anything, so it will occupy a blank space kind of thing. Then I'll keep on adding one element to this object. Okay, so Nayan, it is clear what is instance? Nayan, cool. Now, how do I add one object? And someone told Likit, right? Yeah, Likit, you told about constructor. I'll go to the constructor little bit later. Okay. One thing, this object, it's also kind of a constructor only. Okay. This is an object that is a JavaScript keyword. Okay. We'll be creating our custom constructor also. That time I'll be explaining more. This is also a object. This object property or this object is there in JavaScript library. It is calling from there, and whenever the new keyword, we can declare an object in a way other than we occasionally declare an object. Okay. uh, One thing I just need to correct, Nilanjan, it's not declare, it's called create instance. Okay, declare is different. Okay, in JavaScript there are something you need to be very careful. There are declaration, there are initialization, there are creating instances. Okay, these things are little bit different. Okay, in top view it looks like same, doing the same kind of thing. Okay, but in depth it is little bit different. Okay, declaration I'll tell you later. Okay, declaration is also a very important part in JavaScript. Okay, JavaScript has a very good property which is depends on the declaration only. Okay, we'll go with later. Okay, now remember in mind, new is used to create an instance. I have created an instance here. Now let's go here and let's add student dot name is equal to, I can have the same name. Okay, I can do the student dot here, one line is there, I can do student dot desig. Okay, here also I can have a name called student. Okay, and I can do these subjects also. Okay, now let's just give it a try, both of are same or not. Okay, suppose I'll give a student one, let it be student two. Okay, now console, we can use this. What you mean by you can use this, Ritik? Ritik, I didn't got your question. Student is equal to this, I didn't use this yet, right? This dot name student 2 dot or student 2 dot name, it will be student, not student 2 dot name. This I'll go a little bit later, Ritik. This is having another concept. Okay, so in these cases I didn't use any this keyword currently. Okay, this, whenever you're going to this, that then scopes comes into the picture. Okay, I'll go a little bit later. I'll definitely go with this. Okay, fine. console.log, and I have student2. Okay, let's just run it and check what is the output. See, both the cases, see, it is defined designation, sorry, name engine. I think I have, hold on. Student2, hold on. This JavaScript compiler is hmm, I'm not able to show you anything here. Okay, let's just inspect it. Can you guys see my console? Console you can see? Okay, because they are not running properly. See, it got name, legend, designation, students, and subject is an array. So if we expand it, you can see the array is there. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll enable the next part also. Okay. It's about student2, which is actually I have created using a new keyword. Okay. Let's just run it both now. See, first of all, name student, designation student. Here also name legend, designation student. Okay. I haven't added the subject. That's why it's not coming. But both the cases output is same. So I can use any of them. Factory function object. What do you mean by factory function object, Shan? Shan? Okay. Shan, you can, if you have any issue, you can talk also. I can enable you. I'm not getting what is, do you mean by factory function object? Okay. See, what is a benefit? Benefit we'll know one by one. Okay. What is the benefit here? See, if you are actually creating an object and you have only three objects, this kind of object you are creating, then there are no benefit basically. So if you are creating a static object, always use this curly bracket only. That's why JavaScript introduced the curly bracket to make programming easy. Okay. So there are no benefit in this case using a constructor method. What is the benefit we'll be having? Now we'll be talking it. Okay. Now we'll be talking about regarding the benefit whenever I am going with the constructor part. Okay. Now I'll be creating one function here. Let's see the curriculum, what they have in that. Okay. Next they have a constructor. Okay. So now what I'll be doing, I'll be creating a function. Function student. Okay. Here what I'll be doing now, this dot name is equal to Nanjan. Okay. This dot Daisy is equal to what you call, what I can tell, student. Okay. So these two property I have defined in a function. Okay. So this function is also called a constructor function because it will construct these two objects. How? Similar way, const student1 is equal to new, then I'll be creating student. Okay, one of the thing I'll recommend you, that's the good practice, so I'm trying that also. Whenever you are actually creating a constructor object, this kind of thing you will be using your entire program. Okay, so it is actually advisable and it's a good practice to use all the constructor functions starting with a capital letter. Okay, in future you will also get a help on this. You'll know that this is a constructor function, this is my normal variable name. Okay. So I have created const student1 new student. Okay. Now if I do a console.log and student1, then what will get printed? Just clear it. See, same thing got printed. Student and Nilanjan. Designation student, name Nilanjan. Same thing got printed here. Okay, clear? One of the key thing to notice here. Okay, what is the key thing we'll notice? We'll be noticing here. Okay, this is, I'll be showing here one thing. Okay, see here when I console it, it came as student, then name Nilanjan, then designation. Okay, that means it's the student type of object. We have created a student, not a procedural object. Okay, now similarly, if I have done it like this way, const student2, and here basically this is used to add object, is to use the add object properties. I'll check Nilanjan what you were talking about. Okay, name Nilanjan and your basic student. Okay, then I'll be printing console.log student2. Okay, now let's notice what is the difference. So same kind of thing I have created. Okay, see here I see the student comes in the front. Here it's only a curly bracket object. Okay, so that's why I have not, this is an object and this is not, you cannot tell a object, it's a student. This will create an empty object internally. It's not an empty object, you can tell it occupies a object type space. Okay, whenever you're doing this, it will occupy a object type space. Okay, and I'll be giving you more insight on that when I'll be teaching you the prototyping. So what happens if you do it and what is the prototype there. So that's how JavaScript actually occupy a space. It has a prototype system. Okay, that I'll be going little bit later. Okay, for now let's understand piece by piece. Okay, then only you'll be having more grief on that. Okay, so this is your constructor. So this is why what I used, I have created a function. Okay, that I can tell a constructor function. Okay, and this constructor function is going to create, I can use to create a constructor, use to create this, construct this object or student type object, you can also tell this. Okay, now constructor can be with parameter or without parameter also. Okay, so there are no hard rule that every constructor needs to have a parameter. Okay, so here I have taken a constructor that is without a parameter. Now I'll be taking another thing that I'll be passing a parameter. How? Here let's have a name and the DESIG. Okay, I'll take it as a parameter. Instead of the static, I'll be passing name here. I'll be passing designation here. Okay, and in student, I can pass name is equal to Nilanjan and designation is equal to student. Okay, now if I run it, it will give me the same output only. See, Nilanjan designation student. That's where it comes handy. Okay, that is the benefit of using a new keyword with a constructor. Okay, you can actually create dynamic object. If you have done it like this, okay, that time you cannot create another object, keep on creating another object, right? You will have a static name embedded here. Yes, it is dynamic with new keyword. Now this object is dynamic. I can create student2 with the same structure. student 2 with the same structure, right? I can follow the same structure and I can give my name here, Anirban, and here it will be educator. Okay. So whenever I will be printing student 1, I'll be getting Nilanjan. Whenever I'm printing student 2, I'll be getting Anirban. Okay. Now, what we have built here until now, what we have satisfied until now, when it comes into this point, we are creating a structure, right? Suppose I am a lead developer. Okay. I am responsible for structuring my project. So what I will be doing, I will be creating this student's architecture. Okay. I'll be doing this. I'll be writing the code in student, and there are some developers are under me. I'll tell them to use this student object in their code. So what they are doing, they are just calling it and creating an object, and structure, they are not actually doing anything with that structure. They are not changing. They are using, pulling it and using it. Correct. So this is the way I can ensure my project will be completely structured. So that's the benefit of my object orientation in respect of structure part. Okay, I told you object orientation will give two kind of thing. One, it will ensure the security. Also, it will ensure the project is properly structured. In this phase, what I can show you that student, it's not in my real life project. It's not that I'll be writing a single 1-2 line of code here. Maybe the student, it's completely holding a student structure. It may have students some function embedded with it. It may have some other things also. It may have 10 function, consider 10 20 function, 30 40 variable, but I'll be writing this student only once. Okay. And whoever want to use the student, who want to work with student, they can create a student type object. They will by default get all this. Correct. Got it. What is the benefit I get in respect of doing object orientation? Any more question anyone is having? Okay, cool. So this is how we now, I just give you an overview. Now let's talk about this keyword. Okay, this keyword is very important. So in programming, let me go out and go to the dashboard one. When you're doing object oriented programming, irrespective of language also, I can tell you will find those two things there. Okay, one is called this. Even though you are going a Java programming, you will find this. I think for other programming also, C or C++ also, you will find this. This keyword is very important. And there is another keyword called super. The super I will be talking later point in the class. Super is lately introduced in JavaScript after ES6 is introduced. This is there from that procedural JavaScript only. So this is used to denote the current scope. Okay, this is used to denote the current scope. Okay, what is scope? Now what is scope? So in JavaScript, whenever you're writing JavaScript, whether you write a function, okay, or you write a constructor, const object, or you write any if else condition, what are you doing? You are actually wrapping it using the curly bracket, right? Every time you're using curly bracket, right? This curly bracket is called block. Okay, whenever you're writing a curly bracket and you are actually encapsulating, another word you can tell, it's also a part of object orientation. Whenever you are actually encapsulating or what do you call, wrapping around all the programming inside a curly bracket, then it creates a block. Remember this word, block. Okay, and inside block, whatever the things are there, those are actually in this block scope. Okay, this block is actually kind of your home, and whatever the element you have in your home, it's your scope. Okay, Shan, you are telling remove is equal to name is equal to designation. Why I should remove? I'll go to that. Okay, little bit later. Let me just complete this one. So this wrapping around everything, it's called block. Okay, and inside a block you have a scope. So this is used to so suppose I have a block, that means my home, and in block I have suppose one character, one function, one array. So all the thing, if I want to access any of them, I'll be using this keyword. So that's why when I actually doing the programming, what I have done, function student, right? After that, what I have done, I have done this one block I have created. Now this dot name, that means this name is a property of this block, and this is actually do accessing used for accessing the current scope, and this is that's why I am actually accessing name with this keyword. Okay, so I can have my name here, then this dot your designation, that is also a part of this, and I can have my what do you call, anything like test here, designation is test or student, anything designation I can have. So this is used to create your normal thing. Okay. Okay. Shan, can you talk? I am not understanding what you are actually asking. I'll unmute yourself. Hold on. Okay. Okay, now I'm going there. Shan, you wanna talk? Deep, I'll go to the super keyword when I'll move to the ES6 part. Okay. Okay. Nayan, can you talk? Nayan, you have mic, right?
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Nayan, right?
Uh,
Okay, who is talking actually?
Sir, am I
Nayan, right?
audible?
Yes, Nayan, you are audible.
Hello?
Nayan, you are audible.
Hello?
You are audible, Nayan.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay,
So, sir,
tell me.
sir, where we use that this keyword and sir for
This keyword is used to address the current scope. Okay, first of all, you need to know what is a scope. This is a block. Anything inside this block will be this block scope. Got it?
okay, sir.
Anything wrapped around a curly bracket is called a block in JavaScript, or anything, this area is called a block. Okay, and inside this area, whatever you have, this is the scope of this block. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so now if I want to use any scope of this block, then I can use this. Inside this block, if I use this dot name, then it will take the name of this block. If there is a name keyword, or I need to create a name keyword inside this block, then I can do this dot name. So it will create a name in this block. Create. Cool. Suppose
Okay,
you will have your name here, Nayan. Got it?
got it.
Okay. Let's just go to my.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, Shan, you are audible. Tell me.
Sir, just before you have written where this is code.
Yes. Can you
Sir,
see that?
shall we remove this equals to name,
Why?
equals to designation?
Why I should remove?
Because we have already passed it in parameters, no?
Okay, you have passed it in parameter. Okay, this parameter is getting cached where? Here.
Yes.
Okay, now here it will doesn't make sense, right? So I need to map it to this name.
Sir, once you remove and run the code.
If you remove and run the code, the student will be empty.
Okay, okay.
This Nilanjan and student will not get added to this. Okay, you don't confuse, as I actually created with the same name. Okay, I can create S name here also. Okay, and S designation. Okay, then this
Okay.
name will get catched here. Okay, this name from here, when I'm calling this one, it will go to this name, and this name will be assigned to this S name.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so this S name is the inner variable of the student, or is the inner scope variable of the student.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and this name is the parameter which is coming from outside. These two are the parameter which you are catching. You already, if you already read about the function, you know these are the function parameters,
Yes, sir. I
or
know.
argument also. You can tell this argument is getting passed here and here.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now you all understood, right? If I remove this name from here, will it automatically link to
No, no, sir. I have told that this dot name semicolon, this dot designation semicolon without using equals to.
no,
This
then it will
dot
not. No, no, no,
the
no, 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 no. It's a function. It's not an object. It's a function. The moment you do it like this, it will not work.
sir, this dot name, sir, once you remove this s
Okay, you are talking about this
dot name
name
semicolon,
semicolon,
this dot
this
designation
dot designation.
designation
Yes. Now
semicolon.
yes, you have created name and designation. What is the value of these two things? This is the empty variable now,
Yes,
and it will also create an error also if you don't assign anything here.
sir. Once
In
you run,
it will give an error. It is telling
okay, okay,
yellow
okay.
column. See, it's a
Yes,
syntax
yes,
error. See,
yes, yes.
forget about anything. Okay, if you do let a, what do you mean by this? Any value is there.
No, no, sir. Undefined.
If I do a, any value is there. It actually it will create a error.
Yes, sir. Yes, I
Okay,
understood.
same thing is happening here. So you need to assign some variable.
Yes, yes.
That what I have given. Assign some value. That
Okay,
I
sir.
have given. Okay,
Okay, sir.
clear?
Clear, sir.
Likhit, what are you telling about self-write? This like self-write. I'm not understanding. What is self? Okay, let's move to the next part. Constructor we have talked about. These key hub we have talked about. Okay. New and these actually we have done it. Okay, next thing is what? Let me just check the activities. Okay, so these I think already given. Assigning an object. We'll do, let me just check it out all the things once. Okay, cool. So now small thing, I think all of you are actually aware about this thing until now, so we'll be just doing these small things only. Okay, suppose I am creating a console, hold on, const const student is equal to name is equal to Anirban, same desig colon educator. And if I want to print the designation only, how do I print it? Using the dot operator, console.log, and what I'll be doing, student dot, what is the name? Name. Okay. Self referred to present object. I'll talk with you, Likit, after this. Okay. So console.log student name, what will be? So tell me what in the chat, what it will get printed if I do a console.log student.name. Yes, cool. That will get printed. So I using the dot operator I'll be using. So can anyone tell me what is the other way of doing these things? Yes. So that is also you can do Likit. So if you Yes, everyone, we can also do it like this way. So it's a dot operator also we can use, or we can use the array operator also. Okay, both of them actually going to give you the same output. Okay, these are two way of doing things. Now, anyone can tell me what is the use of these two things? Why should I use two things? Let's see. Just test it out once, as we have told, to satisfy this one. So if I do it, it's calling actually undefined. It's actually be like this. Hold on. Yes. So it is giving like this. Okay. And if I am doing student dot name, it will also give like this on it. Okay. Now, can anyone tell me there are two way to do things I have told, right? Previously also I have seen that I've shown you the two way to actually create an object, and I showed you what is the use of this two way. In this case also there are two way to differentiate an object, right? Can anyone tell me what is the use of this? Why JavaScript introduced there are two way? I can do it like this way also, or I can do it like this way also.
Sir, because
What is the difference? Why should I? A
because
difference. Tell me.
sir, the difference is because when we suppose when we want to develop a user selected colors, for an example,
Hmm.
any color, because we don't know the runtime value of it,
Column, right?
then we
We're
can
talking.
use this bracket notation.
Yes, very good. So if you know that user, if you know that user is going to ask me about the name of this thing, then you can use dot name. That's a static property. But just like Shan told,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
developing a software. I don't know. User may ask for the designation. User may ask for the name. I have created a function get user, and this get user I can get a name or get an designation. So
Yes, sir.
in that kind of point of time, these things can be automated dynamically. That means if I have an object here, let uh, mm, parameter param, okay, there I can put anything, right? Name, and this param, what I can do, I can place it here. So what we'll be doing, I am asking for name, it is giving me name. It is giving me name. Now let's ask for designation. I'm not changing my line number 6, right? I'm just changing the line number 5, which I can take from the user also. Run it, giving me the designation. Okay. So it's used for dynamic purposes. So if you are doing a dynamic programming, then it is very useful. Okay. Uh, okay. Someone asked some question. So Likhit, you can talk actually. If you have any question, you can talk. Don't confused. Okay. You are learning JavaScript. Okay. Okay. Which one you want me to explain, Deep? This part, right? Okay. So what I told, there are two way to get a property from an object using a dot operator or using a array operator. Okay. This is clear, Deep. Up to this, you clear? Okay. Now, suppose I know that user is always going to ask me about the name only. That time I just statically type name, right? Name, student dot name, user will get, I'll get the name. Correct. But in some point of time, I might not know. User may ask name or may ask designation. So I don't know, right? So what I need to do that time, I need a dynamic parameter. So this parameter only I'm going to, if I want to give a dynamic parameter, if I give param like this, it will not work. Okay, it will not going to decode this parameter and read the value. To do that, what I need to do, I need to do like this. Okay, inside that I'll be writing param, this param. So now what we will be doing, it will just read the parameters value, that is designation, and tell the student you need to print the designation of student. Okay, that's how it is coming handy. That's why there are two way. One is you can use anytime, another one you can actually use as for dynamic purpose. Clear, Deep? Clear? Okay. Anyone is having any more question? Okay, let's just do some couple of thing also. Okay, fine. Let's just have another thing called info. I'm having another thing called info. In info, it's not only that I can write of the string or any data type. I can also write a function also in info. Okay. So what will be in info? Suppose in info, I will be writing console.log I am a student. I can write it. Okay. Now, if I do console.log, then what? Param dot info. Okay. What will get printed here? Tell me what will get printed. Tell me everyone, if I do this, you can see my code, right? If I do this, what will get printed here? Param.info. No. Yes, like it, I am a student. So it will execute the function. Okay. Yes, I am a student will get printed. Let's just check it out. Okay, it's not a, sorry. It's not param.info. It's actually student.info. Yes, sorry. I am creating student object only. Student.info only. Yes. See, it printed I am a student. Okay. And it will also print undefined. Why? It print I am a student, and along with that, it print a undefined. Can you tell me why? Can anyone tell me why? Yes, Nilanjan, it is not returning. That's the correct answer. Okay. Fine. Nilanjan, can you okay. JSP has a less place. What to do? Hold on. Let's just wait. We'll just make it in a different file. Okay, we'll be doing it here now only. Okay, now let's just okay. Can everyone see my VS Code? You cannot see my VS Code. Hold on. Yeah, can you see now VS Code? Yes, now you can see the code, right? Entire code. Cool. Now we'll be doing here only. So let's just note test.js. See, here it is showing I am a student and it is printing a undefined. So Nilanjan told that it is not returning something. Yes, that is correct only. Okay. So now Nilanjan, you don't answer. So I want a solution. Okay, here, what line I can change so that it will only print I am a student? Can anyone tell me? In which line I can do a small modification? Yes, correctly. Remove console.log in line number 9. Okay. So what was happening here? It was executing student.info and it was printing I am student. Okay. Then it was expecting this will return something and it is going to print it. Okay. Okay. Parag, I don't need to replace console.log with return. Okay. Return should be here. I didn't return any here. So this function is not going to return anything. And in the world of JavaScript, if we are not having anything, it will be assigned as an undefined. So whenever I'm doing console.log and I'm just writing student.info, it is supposed to return anything and it is not returning anything. So I'm getting undefined. Okay. So if I remove this, okay, then this will become clear. See, now it is showing I am student. Okay. Now one small question I have, another small assignment, very small assignment. So I want a function called student dot. So I have here, suppose, one small assignment. Let's see who can tell me. So let's just change it. Console dot need to return. See, in console dot log, what it is printing, whatever you put inside the console dot log, it will just put into the console. Okay. If you see my previous code, inside console dot log, it is expecting a value. This should convert into a value. Okay. So here what is happening? So this, if I convert this into a value, is it returning anything? Info function is returning anything? No, right? So it will be printing undefined. But when I'm running the info function, there is a console.log at the I am a student. So that is getting printed first. Okay. Cool. Now let's just modify. It's a F name, suppose a first name, and it's a L name. Dash. Okay. Now I want to call like this: student dot full name, a function. Okay. What it will be doing? It will be returning Anirban space dash. Okay. How do I do it? Anyone? Just think about that and write the code snippet in the chat box. Understood? Everyone understood the problem? I want to have a full name, this function here, so that this full name is going to print Anirban space dash. How do we do it? Nilanjan, got it? Okay. Now, please try to write this program on your own. Okay. Likhit, I got answer. Console student no, Sharad. I need this function. Anyone wanna try more? Full name, return this dot name, this okay. Parag. Shan, iterate. Uh, what is iterate, Shan? I'm not getting. What do you mean by iterate? Okay. So Nilanjan, you're trying still. Anyone else are trying also so that I can wait? Okay, I'm waiting. Full name is another function. Yes, definitely full name is another function it is calling. And I need to write the definition of full name only. Okay, full name is not there. Now you need to tell me what to write full name, how to write, and what will be the definition, what I need to write inside. Full name function console.log this dot name this dot, okay, fine. Okay, so let's move on to the program. So I have got two kind of actually response only. Some of them actually created the, I think I can mention the name deep. Deep, you have created function, and inside that you have written a console.log, and inside that you have done something. Okay, so we'll go from the top layer. Okay, so someone actually created a function and used a return. Okay, if you return it, it is not going to print here. Okay, because I am just calling the function. Understand the syntax. Okay, here there is no console.log. So if you create a function and returning from there, this will come here. It will be staying inside this function. It is not going to print something. So the console.log you should print inside the function only in according to this syntax. Okay. So what I need to do, full name I need to call. So what I'll be doing, full name. Okay, that a function. Full name I'm calling a function. So full name will be a function. And what I told inside full name, I need to print the first name and last name. I need to print. That means always the console will be there. Okay. Now I need to access the f name and l name. F name and l name are where? In this block only, inside this block only. So what I'll be doing, I'll be using this dot f name. Okay. Someone use template lettering, that is also fine. And I can use the plus symbol also, that is also fine. This dot l name. Cool. So that is my full name function. So save it. And now I got Anirban space dash. Yes, that's what the DQS is used. Okay, any object in this function, it's residing in this, or in this object, it's residing in this object scope. I can access using this keyword. That's why I told this is used to use the current scope. Okay, somebody actually do it like this way also. Okay, who do like this way? Parag. Parag, you have done it like this way. Okay, let's see what is the output. See, Parag. Have you seen the output, Parag? You have any thought about that? Okay, you are not expecting this output, right? You are expecting Anirban space dash. You have written a its trend. Yes, I took your code. That's the purpose. I knew that will not work. No, no, no. Arrow function is allowed in object also. It's not allowed or disallowed. Okay, so let's have a boundary. We're not going to dig down into this part currently. Okay, because it's going to be a little complicated here. So remember, one small thing for in this phase, we'll definitely in your next classes, when you be having more function invocation classes, you will be getting more idea on this. Let's have a rules in this case. Whenever you are creating a function, okay, and inside that you want to use the this keyword, don't use the arrow function. Okay, the only reason I can tell you now, I cannot explain you because it will take another class and it will not, I have too many things to cover. Arrow function doesn't comes with its scope. Okay, whereas all the other function is having a scope. Arrow function is not having a scope. arrow function and normal function looks like same, exactly doing the same thing. And if you are doing a JavaScript in a very beginner level, you will think, oh, arrow function is the smartest way of doing things. But not everywhere you can use the arrow function. Arrow function inside this will behave differently. Okay, so remember this one. We'll definitely go ahead and you will understand in next classes what is the difference between arrow function and normal anonymous function. But for now, this is the thing. So whenever you are creating an object or a function inside an object, don't actually use the arrow function. Use the normal function only. Okay, now it will actually go ahead and use this. Okay, cool. So let's take a break for 10 minutes. Okay, we'll be back by 9:15. Cool. Everyone is okay with that? Hello. I'll give another break, Vinayak. Okay, let me complete another section, then I'll give you another break also. Okay, then take 15 minutes. Okay, then take 9:20, we'll get connect. Okay, next break we'll reduce then. Go ahead. So it's 9:06. Okay, we'll be regrouping by 9:20. Okay, whenever you're coming back, just uh, write in the message, I'm there. Okay, or back, so that I'll know that everyone is back. Okay, cool. Yes, till 9:20. Hello. Yeah, so I think Shan asked about the LinkedIn profile link. That's why I shared in the chat. Okay. Okay. Just write down back if whoever is actually back here, just write down the back there. Okay. Okay. Then let's get started. Okay. So next thing we are going to learn about the class keyword. Okay. So what are the things we have learned until now? Those are the part of your JavaScript based JavaScript. Okay. Or you can call it a vanilla JavaScript. So all of you know that JavaScript introduced something called classes. Okay. When you are going to the ES6 part, you you know about the things one thing is introduced that called the class. Okay. So basically class is not new thing that introduced new concept that introduced in JavaScript. Basically what about the things we have done until now in this last 1 year, what about the things we have talked about, we are doing constructor object, all the things we'll be doing using the class keyword. Okay. You can think of it's more like a syntactical sugar. Okay. Over top or the top layer, but it is actually easy to use, and if you are converting from any other language to this language, you will have many similarities. Okay. Let's just create a class now then. Okay. How do we create? And there are some other small properties also introduced as a part of class. Let me share my screen. Okay. So let's just delete this. So we'll be creating a class now. So I'll be doing the same reference only. So now let's do class. Okay. Student. Okay. Same thing, I have created class student, and this is the syntax of defining a class. Okay. Now what I can do here, hmm, here what I can do, let me just take const const student one is equal to new, same thing, student. I can create this. Okay. It's similar like what you are doing in doing by a object. Okay. But now we are doing it via class. Okay. Now what I can do here, I'll do a console.log. I didn't define anything in that, but just print it to know what is happening here. Student. Hold on, it's not saved actually. Let's save it. See, you got the same kind of output, right? Previously some time ago we have created a student using a function, and now I created a student using a class. Both the cases the output is same. Okay. Now let's just add some constructor. So on that case, on that node, we have passed the parameter to the function only and added that into a object or into some properties. So here there is one constructor. Okay. That is used to create a constructor. Okay. Now constructor can have name and what do you call a basic, same thing. Okay, and I'll be creating the constructor is a base function that will be taking or not taking any kind of function object, a parameter. Okay, so now this dot name is equal to let's take same thing, name, and also this dot desic is equal to desic. Okay, now instead of here I'll be passing same thing, Anirban and educator. Okay, let's just print it now. See, student name is equal to Anirban, designation is equal to the educator. Got it? Now, instead of constructor, same kind of thing we can do it here also. Suppose you will get something called info. Okay, that is basically a function. I think it should be function info. Function info, sorry. Info. Some syntax I'm mashing. Let's go with info. Here I'll be writing console.log. I am student. Okay. So now let's do one thing. Student one dot info. Okay. So what is going to print? Same thing only. I am student. Got it? The same thing I am doing with a different kind of syntax. But remember, in background, JavaScript do the same thing what you are doing. Okay. Now, if you want to write this full name, okay, some time ago I have done it. So full name. So what I can do, console.log this dot name plus this dot. Okay, so I don't have these properties here now. So let's just name and designation I'm printing here, desic. Okay, I'm just printing name and designation here. So for normal purpose. So let's just clear it out. Okay, now is the student.info I have printed. Now let's create student1 dot full name. Okay. Node dot see Anirban educator. Clear? Cool. Everyone is clear about that. Cool. So same thing, same kind of thing. What I have done using the object syntax, I did all the things using a class. But in class, my syntax looks little different, and it is little smarter way to doing the things. It's a syntactical figure. No need to write the function keyword. That's the beauty of it. You don't need to write it. Okay, this is the syntax. Info, full name, anything you can define actually. Okay, now as we are moving to this class-based architecture, so we are having some of the extra advantage. Okay, that we'll be talking now. So one by one I'll be talking. So first of all, extra advantage is called static method. Or variable. Okay, another one is classical inheritance. Okay, one by one I'll be giving all things. Classical inheritance. Another one is use of super keyword, of course. Okay, these things I'll be talking here. So these are the extra advantage we'll be getting when I'm doing it a class-based inheritance. Okay, it's not, still you don't think that it's newly introduced. All things wherever we are thinking it's already there. This entire thing is syntactical sugar to do more things properly. Okay. Now let's think about the static method. Okay. So I'll just introduce info, full name, these all things, right? Now introduce a new thing called static. After that, I'll be using generic, one function called generic. It's a name I have just given, and I am a static function. Clear how to define a static function? Okay. Now, what is a static function? Static function in any language. What is the use of static function or static keyword? Static function can be called without creating the object. Okay. So what I am doing here actually, student as a class. Okay. Now, if I'm thinking about the class object pattern, now one thing, small thing you need to remember, student is a class and this student one is an object of the student class. So student one inherit or have all the properties of the student. Okay. So if I give you a real life example, suppose I have a class called animal. Okay. Now, if you think about a tiger, tiger is an animal, right? So tiger will have all the properties of an animal, right? So similarly, student is a class and student one is an object. Okay. So student one will have all the property of class. Now, what is the key rule here without this static? Whenever I want to access any of this property, I need to create an object of this and then only I can access. Okay. If I don't create an object, I cannot access this info, name, info or full name, these two function. But if I make a function static, then I can access it without creating any kind of object. That means now I'll be able to do like this. Student dot, what is this? Generic. I can call this function. Okay. Let's see whether I'm correct or not. See, I am a static function. I am able to call, correct? But in case you are doing student one dot generic, then what will happen? See, student one generic is not a function. Okay. So you cannot use it as an object function. It's used for a function. If you want to have a function, which function you want to call as a generic function, don't need to create an object. Okay. Any function inside a class, if it is not static, then you need to create an object of the class and then only you can use that function, just like we have done it. But in case of generic, that is a static function. The static function can be called, or we need to call without creating an object. So static function will be called like this. Got it? So many places we can use Liquid. So if I want to have a generic function, I don't need to create object. Suppose I want to have a counter. Okay. Suppose I want to have a counter function here. Okay. So that is actually counting how many time any function is that getting run. So that point of time, I can use this one. Okay. There are many other uses also. Any globalization or any generic thing, if I want to use, that is not your student specific or object specific, there I can make it a static function. Okay. Clear about static function? If you want a static function, you can write function outside a class. If you write outside a class, it will be a global function. Okay. Anyone can use this one. Any function can use these things. Okay. There will be a global function. Okay. That also I don't want to have. I want to have one function that will be my class function, but I don't need to depend on this class's object. Okay. So that's why we'll be using the static method. Static methods don't need to create any function, just create it. Okay. No, you cannot give other name other than constructor. You need to give constructor only. That is a reserved keyword. If you want to create a or override a constructor, then you need to give a constructor name only. Constructor only, Parag. Okay. Unlike that, there is also static variable. Also, you can define static. I think flag or generic var you can have. Okay, there you can have 12. Okay, this function also I think you can access instead of this. If I have student dot generic var, okay, and what I need to do, I need to console it. I can do without creating it. See, 12 is getting printed. Okay, so there are static variable, there are static method. Okay, static method doesn't need, you don't need to create an object to do it every time. Okay, and another example of static, why I can use a static variable also. Okay, so suppose Likit, you think about that. Suppose in this static variable I have, instead of an integer, I can use a entire big JSON data. Okay, suppose the JSON data is how many, suppose JSON data contain 10 KB of data I have. So what happens every time I instantiate a student object, this 10 KB data get appended. Okay, if you actually create 10 object, 10 into 10, 100 KB data will get appended. Okay, but this all is a static value, right? It is static. It's not going to change your object to object. So why should I create unnecessary 100 KB data? Okay, I can just simply make it static, and from the class wherever I need, I can just call it. Understood? Static variable concept, why you should use static variable. Okay, and also you can understood in that way, not getting it. Okay, let's just go there. We'll introducing the static thing. Okay, suppose you are creating a class called animal, or let employee class. Okay, let's don't think I have something called static. Okay, I don't have static. Okay, I have creating the employee class. Okay, this employee class have a data, which is a attendance data of an employee. Okay, what you'll have, it will have an array of attendance, like every date. Suppose date is something 5th August, present, yes or no. Okay, and in this way, if I am holding 1 month data, so 30 object will be there, right? Clear? 30 object, date will be 6th August, present in, okay, 30 object will be there. So suppose this weighted, suppose 20 KB data I have, correct? Now what I'm doing here, I'm creating one employee. Suppose employee name is one const emp1 is equal to new employee. This one I can create. I can create a emp2 also with the same syntax, emp3 also with the same syntax, correct? So what it will be there, so emp2 will hold 20 KB data, here also it will get 20 KB data, here also it will get 20 KB data, correct? So 60 KB I have consumed for 3 employee. Got it? So Deep and Nilanjan, tell me, is it a good practice? I am just keep on getting the same data only because it is a static. I have just made equals and add a static data here. Is more data. So what I will be doing, I will be creating a data as a static. So now when I'm actually creating an object, this will not occupy the space of a static data. Okay, it will only occupy the space of non-static data. If I have some function, other things, this will be using those things only. And if I want to have this data for any time, what I can do, I can just be student dot a data. So every time, if I am creating n number of employee only, then also it will only hold this data static only 2 KB. Okay. That will not be different liquid. If it is a different data, then I'll not put it as a static data. Static data are only used for common properties, which will be same across the all the student. Okay, let's just give you another example. If you thinking student data is difficult, static data is across all the things. I just give you an example. So let's just have some real life example kind of things. Yes, in this case, present will be same for all. I have written it that way. Okay, let's just create animal. Okay. Animal will have some name, which is not static, have some type, which is also not static. What we can have static data, what will be common with all the animals? If you think about that, let's think about the med pack, some property called medical pack. Okay, so medical pack is the entire medical instrument coming for an animal. Okay, if it's a tiger, it can take it can provide tiger. See, there are some medical packs, suppose some painkiller or some anesthesia, all things will be common for all the animals. It will used for all the animals. So medipack will contain the data of those packages. Okay, so suppose name of the medicine, okay, and the dose, how many dose it should have. Okay, so this medipack will have a big amount of data because there are many medicine information you will be having here, and that medipack will be common, right? So if it is a tiger, if it is a lion, all things will have some common medicine. They will, every animal will have some common medicine that will be listed here. So name will be different, it will be dynamic, type will be dynamic, but the medipack will be static here. Okay, now if I'm creating a tiger, okay, is equal to new animal, then the name is suppose tiger. Okay, here I'm creating lion, new animal, and here I'll be having the name as lion. Okay, now each and every time this name and type will vary. So lion and animal are same kind type of animal, both of them are mammals only, so I can write mammals, and lion is also mammals. Okay, but the medipack will remain same for both of them. So shall I include the medipack to everyone? Now tell me, Likit. No, if I make it static, when you're creating an object, it will not include the static object here. Okay, so when you are creating a object from a class, it will not calculate the static object. This object, this animal object, this tiger object will not contain your medipack. This will not contain your medipack. This will not contain your medipack also. Medipack or any static variable or any static function, it will be inside your parent class only. it can be for all object and can be accessed by class only. It it will not be an object, first of all. This tiger and lion doesn't contain Medipack. What are you Riaz, what have you pinged here? No, Deep. Super keyword will be going later. Super will go later. Okay. Don't go ahead and go ahead and other things. Okay. I'm not sure, Raj, Riaz, I think. Riaz, what you have pinged? Riaz, so we are going in a different topic, right? If I have time at the end of the class, I'll go with that. Okay. Don't include any other question here now. Okay. So Likit, have you cleared or I need to go a little bit more? Likit? Okay. Fine. So static function will not get included. Static function will not get included in object level. It will be in class level only. So when we include static, when we need it, I just told you, whenever you have a static property, whenever you have a property that doesn't change object to object, that should be as a static only. Okay, just like Medipack. Yes, it should be inside class. Okay, it should be inside class. Okay, let me just go back to just like const, it is not changing. Yeah, you can tell it is not changing. It will be static. That's why it's called static. Take the word, it's not a dynamic. It is not changing object to object. That's why it's called static. Any static method or static variable, it will remain same for each and every object. You can keep object inside the static. Yes, you can create an array also. We don't need to change Likit. We don't need to change static function. If we are defining static function, you should not change it. That's the way we are doing static function. Okay, there are other way you can define any other variable, you can change it that way, that is fine. Static function, we generally don't change it. Can you change type in static? You can use any type of variable in static. You can use any type of variable in static, not a problem. No, static function remains static. Why generic is not able to access the class? Generic function is static function. So generic function doesn't contain inside an object. Whatever I told, static function will not be inside the object. It will be always be inside the class level. That's why when I try to call student1.generic, student1 is an object. Student1 doesn't have static method. So it told me that generic function is not, generic is not a function. Student1.generic is not a function. Got it, Ankit? Yes. Static, we can declare any function. We don't need to declare, we don't need to access, we should not access. That's the first rule of static function. Static function we should not access via object. Static function will be accessed without a object. No, one class will have one constructor only, not more than one constructor. So I just told there are some property in a class will be common for all the object. Okay, just like I explained animal Medipack. Medipack contain the various property of doses or medicine that can be applied to any animal. Okay, whether it's a tiger, whether it's a lion, whether it's a bird, that medicines are common medicine which can be applicable for any animal. So that Medipack function or Medipack variable I will be keeping as static so that anyone can use it. I don't need to create a function explicitly to call this. Okay, so that's it. The word is static. If you need something static, see, everything you're defining inside an object can be dynamic, can change it. Okay, but static function only one thing that doesn't depend on object to object. Okay, it will only depends on stay on class only. Okay, any more? How can we access static function? Okay, I already told object is not there. Okay, any more question? Cool. Any more question regarding static? Got it. Okay. Now I think I got this question 2 3 times. What is super keyword? Before going to the super, we need to understand one base concept that is called inheritance. Okay. Can anyone tell me what is inheritance? Not by chatting. If we want anyone wanna talk, you can raise your hand. I'll enable you. What is inheritance? Viraj Pandey. Yeah, you can talk. Vida Pandey, right? You can talk.
Uh, so basically, inheritance is uh, passing the property. So if a father having some property, so child having some property, so same property is passed to it. It's like a so parent
Yes.
class having some elements, so that can be accessed by a child class. So it's
Yes.
have a different types of inheritance, like a single inheritance, multi-level, multiple, hybrid. So different
Yes.
language have different types of
Yes.
inheritance.
Okay. Fine. So yes, that's the correct only. Inheritance means inheriting property from another class or another person. Okay. Just like you, all of us will be inheriting some property from our parent. Similarly, in JavaScript, same concept can be applicable. So in today's, we'll be talking about the single inheritance only. That is the most used thing in the JavaScript. Okay. So inheritance were there also were there when you were actually using object. Okay, and here also in class based concept it's more clear to understand. Okay, now let's just create a class called animal. Okay, fine. So animal have some property. Let's have a constructor. Okay, what animal have is name. Let's not have a name. Animal have is type. Hmm, type also I can tell. Okay, and let's have a function also, run. Okay, type this dot type is equal to type. Okay, run, and it's a static only. Running. Okay, these two function I have and one constructor I have. Now let's create a function const. What do I give name? Suppose lion is equal to new animal, and type is mammals, right? Mammals. Okay, here I can give. So what I can do, console.log. This is the first thing I am doing. Lion dot type I can put, and console.log lion dot not console.log. I just take lion dot run. Okay. So mammals, animal is running. Okay. Now I have animal here. Okay. So in a real world, there are many types of animal, right? There are mammals. Okay. Can you tell me some types of animal we can inherit? I just told one lion. Tell me any type of animal which we can actually could be creating today. Mammals. No, tiger is a name of animal. I know what the types. Suppose mammals is the type of animal. Okay. What can be more? Okay. There are mammals, reptiles. Yes. There are carnivorous. Yes. So there are birds. Okay. So let's take birds and mammals. Okay. There are reptile also. Yes. Cool. I am printing that. That's why it's printed mammals. Okay. Now I'll be breaking down. So now I'll be creating a class. What is the name of the class? Let's have bird first. Bird is also an animal, correct? So bird will have all the property of animal. Okay. Now do extend. That's the keyword for extending or inheriting one class. I'll be inheriting animal. Cool. We'll be doing that one by one. Okay. So let's just go one by one. Okay. We can, it's just, we are just imagining something. It's our program. We can do anything. Okay. So class bird extend animal. So now the bird class is having all the properties of animal. Correct? Got it? Now bird will fly. That I'll go little bit after that. Okay. So now instead of doing it, let's do like this now. Const bird. Const suppose parrot. Yes, extend. After that, whatever the class name you will be writing, that will inherit that one. A const parrot. Okay. New, what we call bird. Okay. Here, what is the type? Bird type. Okay. Now parrot I have given. Let's see whether it will work or not. Console.log parrot dot type. Console.log parrot dot run. Okay. Let's just see now what is the output here. See, bird animal is running. So what I did, I created an object of bird. Now bird class doesn't have anything. Okay. Still, I can do parrot.type and parrot.run. It doesn't have this, right? Bird doesn't have either type, either run, right? Why? How it is working? It is inheriting the property of this animal. Okay. So it has an animal class property. So all the properties where this animal will have this. Got it? Clear? Okay. Any more confusion? You need to understand this before we proceed. What else you have in the syllabus? Let me see. We'll go later. We'll go a little bit later. Okay. Let's see what you have in the syllabus. Inheritance, how much inheritance we have? You don't have much inheritance in your syllabus. I'll go through little bit later, little bit also. Otherwise, I cannot go with. Okay, you don't have anything more than that actually. If you have any parameter to pass, then you will be using constructor. I'll be going there only. Okay. I'll be going there. Let me just check what are the scenarios we have here. What are the things we have here? Okay. Okay, so see, now here in the BART class, I didn't created any constructor. Okay, so BART class we basically using all the things normal constructor only, and it is creating your by default it is creating calling your animal class constructor. That's why it is actually creating the type. Now I'll be writing here something. Okay, suppose what I need, BART class will be taking all the things here. That is fine, but I need to have a new constructor in your BART class. So let's have constructor. What will be the constructor? In constructor, here I'm defining one constructor. I'll be having type. That's fine. And I'll be having what? Number of wings, because your animal doesn't comes with your legs or wings. So in BART, I need to have wings, right? So that I'll be doing here. So what I'll be doing here, this dot wings is equal to number of wings. Okay. Now what I need to pass, as I created a constructor, it's a new constructor now. Now I need to pass this type here to here. How do I do it? I'll be using super type. So what is the use of this super keyword? Super keyword basically used to call the base class instances. Okay, if you create if you use the super only, then it will call the base class constructor. Okay, this super will call the base class constructor, and it will go ahead and put the type here. Okay, now let's have some same thing here. Since it a parrot dot type, what I'll be having console dot log parrot dot your wings also. Now let's see what is happening here. Still BART is going as undefined. Why? Number of wings. Wings is there, right? Type, it got printed BART. That is fine. Wings, why it is going undefined? Parameter haven't passed. Let's see. Yeah, I passed type here, right? This will go here. Number of wings. Yeah, good observation. Yes. Yes, Parag, good. I didn't pass the parameter. So BART, after that, I'll be passing 4. Sorry, 2. 2 wings is having, BART is having 2 wings. Yes, see. Now what is having here? And is having 2 here. Hold on. Just let me clear it. Yes. So it's printed BART, and it printed the number of wings is 2. Yeah, just like I told some time ago, super is used to create a what you call super is used to call the base class constructor. This super will call the base class constructor or the parent class constructor. So that parent, who is the parent class here? Parent class is this. So it will call this constructor, and this will put this is like this. This type is equal to type. This will put this type is equal to type here. Okay. If you have multiple parameter in parent, we can give multiple parameter in super? Like yes, of course. If you have multiple types, you have any what do you call, any other parameter also, you can give it. That's not a problem. In number of parameter you can give basically. I just showed you in one parameter. So super, it is coming going here and here to here. Clear? Okay, don't go little bit up, Nilanjan. Rest operator, yes, whatever the operator you have learned, whatever the thing concept you have learned in JavaScript basic, you can use it. But let's not try to bring those things here. It will just unnecessarily complicate all things. Okay, then I need to tell about what is the use of rest operator, all things. Okay, I'm going there. I'm going there, like it. Okay, if you have a same name function, okay, what will happen? Suppose now I have a run. I'll define the same function here. Okay, and here console.log Bard is running. What will have here? Bard is running. So what it will be printing here now? Can anyone tell me? If I do a parrot.run, what it will be printing here? As per the said syntax error. Okay, let's just see. Sorry. Console.log. Yeah, sorry. Yes, it's comma actually. Yeah, thanks. Now, if I print it, see what it is getting printed. Bard is running. So what is the priority? First, whenever you're calling a function from the child class, it will first check the function exists in child class or not. If it is not existed, then it will go from the parent, call from the parent class. This exact property is also called function overloading. Okay, it is also called runtime polymorphism. Okay, because whenever actually running a function, that time only it is actually checking from where you are calling it. Depending on that, it will do that one. So basically what is happening here, this, whenever extending it, it is having a run, it is coming with a run function in this function also. After that, when you are calling a writing a run function again, it is overloading this run function in this class. So whenever you're calling a run function from this class, it will always call this. This is called function overloading or method overloading or runtime polymorphism. Okay, which is supported in all the other language also. If you go to the Java also, same thing will happen. Okay, now another small thing, super is not only used to call your base class constructor. You can call base class function also using a super. Suppose I want to run inside the run, I want to run the base class run also. How do I do it? I'll do super dot run. So now what will happen? First, it will run this run function. After that, it will call the console.bard is running. Okay, let's see, just comment out for better understanding. See, Bard animal is running, then Bard is running. Got it? So super is what? Just like this is used to tag or used to access your current scope. Super is used to access your parent scope. Clear? This is very simple definition. Super used to access parent scope. This used to access current scope. Clear? Any more question regarding super and other? Anyone is having any more question? Let's check. Let's check. Why should you wait? Are you able to access? You will not. Super is used for the base class function only. You'll be able to access some point of thing, but you cannot access this. This type you cannot access using super because this is actually inside your constructor. This is not this run. It's inside something. Okay. Let's have this like this. Okay. My test is equal to 12. Okay. Now if you do super dot my test, what is happening now? See, you will not be able to access actually. Super only actually accessible for functions. It will not give you the inner property. Okay. There is a way to access variable via super also. What was that? Well, usually you don't access super use variable using super. So no, it's not in your here also. It's not in your syllabus also. So basically you don't need to worry about that. In real life also, we don't access any variable from class variable. It is very um, bad impression if you are accessing a variable inner parents variable from your child. Okay, Deep, why you are learning these things? You will be using these things, Deep. If you are when we are going for this programming, when going to write codes, even if you are writing in future, you will be writing code in React.js, okay, in vanilla, in Vue.js or Angular. Everywhere you need to have a concrete understanding how this is working. Okay, so if you go with the React code, if you're thinking, I don't know, you have stepped in the React or not. If you're going to the React, its super keyword is widely used there. Okay, whenever you're using React, your first code of React is class, your class name, extend react.component. This is the first line. This is the crucial line you write in React. If you don't know about classes, you will not be able to write a single line in React. Okay, now after that you need to write super, otherwise you cannot access any parent library variable. Okay, so that's why you need to learn it. JavaScript is the base. If your understanding in JavaScript is concrete, then you can learn any framework. There are various framework in JavaScript. Most of the important things are nowadays running React, Angular, Vue. Now, some company will ask for React, some company asks for Vue. So what you will think? I know only React, I don't know Vue. It's not like that. If you know JavaScript, each and every framework, just struggle for 2 weeks, you'll know what is happening. We can work, Ankit, but in background it is class only. Okay, if I tell you no, there are no class, you cannot work without a class. Definitely there are function based here, but it's not a React class, so we'll not go on deep. You can use, but in background, first thing, without a parent, without a root class, you cannot use React also. Yes, we use class in Node.js also, you should use. Okay, at the first of the class, I told JavaScript is a loosely coupled object-oriented system. So without using class and object also, you can go ahead and write JavaScript code. Okay, but that too will not be a prominent code and you will be in problem later. If you are not doing 5-6 lines of code, right? You will be doing 100 lines of code. If you don't maintain structure, gone. You should start using then. You should start using deep. So try to use class, any language you are using. In Node.js, I believe you are writing from scratch, you are writing the Express. Don't just write Express and put the code there. Okay, create classes. Okay, each and every function, if you are writing a function, your library function you are writing, create classes. Inside that you write function and inherit that class or call that class. So class always you should create. You should always maintain a class object properties in your project, because from now I also thought used to think that classes, I need to write too many codes, I can write the 4 lines of code and it's work is done. Okay, but things that in when you are going for a big project, you will be not writing 4-5 line of code, you'll be writing the 100 line of codes. That time you will definitely forget what was this used for and where it is there. There will be no reusability of code. So this kind of thing will happen. Yes, of course, class makes everything efficient. Okay. And any time every node packages, npm packages you will be using in Node.js on React.js, all are based on class only. Okay. They don't actually use procedural classes, procedural node packages. Okay. So any more question in inheritance? Any more question? Okay. So next I'm going to go, if you have cleared all the things up in inheritance, next I'm going to go on the last topic and very important topic in JavaScript is prototype. Mm, let me just note it, check it out if there anything you have more or not. I can give you 5 minutes. You have already taken a break, right? Anyone wanna take 5 minutes of break before I move into the prototype? Okay, just go ahead and come back within 5 minutes. Oh, well, you want dinner break? Okay, let's go for 10 minutes. Okay, let's take a 10 minute. So we'll be closing the class by 11 actually. So 10:30 you can regroup again. Let's go back and regroup at 10:30. Okay, cool. Hey, hi everyone. You guys back? Please write down back in the chat box so that I can start. Only 3%, 4. Yes, we can start, Ankit. I'm just waiting for others to get back only. Okay, let's get started. So the last part of today's class is one thing that is called prototype. Okay, so we just talked about the inheritance, right? The class-based inheritance. So before starting the class, I told you class is basically a syntactical sugar, which is easy to use and we will be using widely. Okay, what is happening in background? Okay, so in core JavaScript, they support one kind of inheritance that call a prototype inheritance. Okay, so that's what we are going to talk it now. Now, what is a prototype inheritance? Let me just share my screen. Let's just do something here. Mm, let's just go back to our very previous old JavaScript only. So where I'll just write a function. Let's call VHC. VHC stand for kind of vehicle. Okay, so I'll just have make model, and what else I can have. Okay, these two I can have. Okay, it's a vehicle, it is a make, and it is a model. Okay, now what I'm trying to do, you guys can tell how to bring this model to a variable. Can anyone write out in the chat? I want to assign this make into a make variable and model into a model variable. How do I do it? Please tell me. How do I do it? Anyone write down in chat? Want to add a variable make and assign this make variable? Yes, this dot model is equal to model dot model is equal to model. Similarly, this dot make is equal to make. Okay, cool. Now what I'm going to do, const Tiago, which is a card name, okay, is equal to new VHC. So I told that always used capital letter only. VHC. A is equal to model. What is A is equal to model, Likit? I don't see A here. That is fine. A, B, instead of that, you can get A and B also. Then you need to access by A and B only. Okay. VHC. Okay. Here I'll be make is suppose Tata, and model is, let's go for 2020 model. Okay. So this is my Tiago vehicle. Okay, now as I know that console.log, what I can have Tiago dot model, so it will print the model here. It's not saved. 2020. Okay, this is we have already learned. Now what is prototype here? So Tiago is an object I have created, and prototype of Tiago is actually VHC. Okay, so prototype of Tiago is actually VHC. Let me just draw it that way. I have something called Tiago. That is my object. Now Tiago is inheriting the property from VHC, right? Correct. So this relation is called prototype inheritance. Okay. Now who is prototype here in this relation? From whom I am inheriting the property is called prototype. So here this called a prototype. Okay, got it? Okay, this is the basic funda of your prototyping. Okay, now this VHC, when I'm actually creating a VHC, what I'm doing, I'm just writing function. Inside that I'm writing this dot make, this dot model. From where these are coming from? From where these are coming from? So in JavaScript, I already have one predefined thing that is called object, right? This object I have already talked about. So this VHC actually inherit the property of object. So in respect of VHC, who is the prototype? Object is the prototype. So prototype always you need to know for which respect I am actually thinking. If I'm thinking what is the prototype of Tiago? Prototype of Tiago is VHC. What is the prototype of VHC? VHC's prototype is JavaScript object. Okay, clear this relation? This is called prototype relation, or it's also called an interesting name that's called prototype chaining. That means this one is coming from here, here is coming from here. So it's called it's coming like a chain. This one is inheriting this one is inheriting this. So it's also called a prototype chaining. Got it? Now JavaScript prototype works in many places. How? Okay, let's just comment out for this moment. I'll go back here and talk about one more thing. Suppose I am defining one array. Let ARR is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on. Sorry, I'm sharing. Okay. So here ARR is equal to 1, 2, 3, so I have defined an array. Is it clear? So now I can do right console.log ARR dot length. I can do it, right? It is going to return me something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What it is going to return me? 5. Yes. Now, have I defined this length function or length variable anywhere? How it is getting the length then? Okay, not only length, I can actually create a function also, ARR dot push 7, right? This also I can do, it will not give me an error. It's a property of array. So how do you mean by property of array? And how do ARR is getting this property of array? This all lies inside your prototyping only. So what is happening here? If you go to the same structure again, in JavaScript, what you have something called array. In JavaScript, you have something called array. You have something called array. When you are defining let ARR is equal to this, it is actually inheriting all the property from array. So in respect of this is my prototype. So inside this array function, I have all the function listed down. Okay, inside this array, I have push, length, pull, all the function listed down. That's why I can call ARR dot push, ARR dot pull, okay, or ARR dot length. Okay, so that's also a kind of prototype inheritance. Okay, now it is also, you can check via from JavaScript also. Okay, it's not that I'm just telling you need to believe. You can test it. How? So I believe there is one thing called console.dir. Okay, and here I'll be having error. So something called console.dir will actually show you all the things. Console.dir is not working here. It don't work in console. Okay, hold on. Let me share the JS fiddle. It will work only on browser actually. You guys can see my JS fiddle. JS fiddle, can you see? Everyone can just tell me yes or something. Cool. Let's just copy this piece of code here. Okay. Just write it here. So I'll be doing console.dir. Yeah, it's just two line of code actually. Let array is equal to this array and console.dir. Okay. So what I'll be doing, you can see the console, I believe. I'll be writing it here. See what it comes, array 5. That means 5 element array it is having. So if you expand it, what you're having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is the value. See, the prototype is also there. So who is the prototype? Array is the prototype, it told. Now expand it. See all the function which you are actually using for array. So you can all see here. This many function you will get if you are defining an array method. Okay. You concat every fill. Okay. Keys. See the length is equal to length, map, push, reverse, shift, slice. All the function you have learned or you will be learning, all will be here. Got it? So it's not that I am telling you need to believe. Anything you can do it. Keys are inside array. Why are you using keys? Arrays, you first print the console.dir, first print the value of the property which you are actually doing to directory. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the position, 0th position, 0th index, 1 index, 2 second index, third index. This is there, and length is 5. It told you about this arrays information. Now who is the prototype? There is a function inside prototype. Okay, and there are many functions in the prototype. Which one you're talking about? Keys is also a function. Keys is also a function. Let's just call that. You see there are these many functions are there. If I want to explain this many function, I need to go for an array classes. So when you are be getting the classes on array, they will be filling all the function here. Okay. So array also will have keys, right? You will have a key value pair since array also. So keys function will be there only. Yeah, Sharath, you can also take it like this way also. In JavaScript, the base things is actually object. If you go a type of array also, you'll get object only. Okay, but in this case, a prototype is actually array. Okay, and inside array you have this many function. Now, if I have defined this as an object also, let's see object. Yes, console dot, it's different. Console.dir actually go ahead and give you the entire directory structure. It is only available in browser. Some other console or runtime will not have it. Okay. Now console.dir. Let's see. Run it. See, I got an object. Inside that, I have the prototypes. My object is blank. That's why I didn't give any value. But prototype is object that it told. Now, if you expand it, whatever the function available for an object, you will get it. Has properties, property of, to local string, to string, value of, all the things are available for as a address. So you'll get it there. Okay. No, JavaScript is not a strict type language. That's I told in the first of the class. JavaScript is a loosely coupled. So you can use object oriented and you can go without object orientation also. So it's a procedural language. So when JavaScript launched, so that time it only was a small browser animation language. So that time it was procedural. Later we made it as object oriented. Now from the ES6 we introduced the class. Okay, so that's why JavaScript is evolving day by day. That's why it's a very famous and it's a language of internet only. No website can run nowadays without a JavaScript. Okay, so that is done. And now the last part, I'll go to the near. So what will be do? I can define a prototype function also. How? Let's go here. Can you see this? Okay, any more question until now before I move to the last segment? Okay, so now let's do one thing. So I have a VHC function. I have this. I have created a model. Now what I'm thinking, I don't have any function here. Okay, so I am a lead developer. Okay, I have created this VHC model and my code work. All things are fine. Now you know that every project get updates, right? Every project gets update. Everyone do a updation. Okay, so that time one developer was working on that, and that time they found out only make and model doesn't make a sense. Okay, now these cars are having many features. So I need to add some function that will display the feature, exact key feature of this function. Okay, anytime they launch a new car, they will give a key feature, right? This car will be famous for this. Suppose Tesla will be famous for your self-driving. Okay, see, Tiago will be famous for your power steering. So this kind of things will be, or any Nano, if you think about Tata Nano, it was mm, famous for cheapest price. So everyone has a USP. Now that is market trends. Now you need to add it. But when the developer want to write a feature, Tiago, suppose I'll write Tiago dot feature, then what is happening? Then feature is not there. This feature function is not there. So what he can do, he can go ahead and go to the VHC and write a function that's here, right? Correct. And he can call it, but sorry, feature. He can call it like this. Okay. But in this case, there are issues. There will be issues. Okay. Because some of the cases, I may not have access to modify this function. Okay. JavaScript are actually kind of protected function root. So I may not have access to this file itself where I have written this VSC function, but I need a feature for my case. Okay. This creates issue now. I cannot modify. So my lead developer told, no, you cannot modify my code because it's already used by many other developers. If you modify here, they will also get affected. So will not modify. So how do I modify, update, and append? Actually, not modify. I will append a feature to parent. So that's why prototype comes handy. Okay. What I can do here, I'll do here VHC. I know the main object dot prototype dot feature. Okay, is equal to one function. Okay, what I'll have here, this function, I'll just write having power steering. Steering. Okay, now if I call Tiago.feature, it will work. Let's see. I didn't modify the existing function, and I can add one thing. See, having power steering. Tiago.feature is working. Got it? So what I'm doing, I'm injecting this kind of thing we call injecting. I'm injecting one feature or one function from my base model, base thing. Okay. So I don't need to touch this. I don't need to write a single code, even though I don't know what is inside this function. I don't need to worry about. I don't need to write or pollute anything inside that. I can straightly inject it and I can use it. Okay. Now, if I am injecting it, means it will be available for me only. Okay. If anyone is having pulling this VHC and he is using, you will not get the feature. VHC is an object. VHC, you can tell. See, all the function is an object only. Clear? Prototyping clear? Any more question in this case? Yeah, tell me, Nilanjan. Go ahead, Nilanjan, tell me. You can talk also. VHC is the prototype of Tiago. We can declare your variable also. We can declare variable also. Prototype works for everything. I showed you function, it makes more sense. Basically, you declare functions only, not variable. Okay. Clear? Cool. Now, remember, these things not only work for your user-defined function, it also work for your um, JavaScript predefined functions also. That means if just comment it out here. Okay, suppose I have done let same function arr is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's an array. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, arr array dot prototype dot my feature. Okay, is equal to function invoking my feature. Okay, so if I do it here, I can do array dot my feature also. Okay, that also will work. Now you know that this is the current scenario. You don't know where array is defined, right? You cannot change. Yes, we can give any name. Any name. I have given my feature. You can give your name also. Invoking my feature. This is the correct scenario that I told. You know, you don't know where the array is defined in JavaScript handler. Okay, and you cannot change. You cannot go ahead and change the array's definition and add a function also. But if you want a function which can be called from array dot, you can just use a prototype to invoke a function or inject a function. Yes, here array is a prototype. This arr is the variable I have created, which is an array type variable. The prototype of arr is array. Clear? Tell me, any other question? You guys are having any question? Anyone is having Likit? Any doubt? Deep? Cool. Deep? Nilanjan, you have told all Deep. Any doubt? Why the concept of prototype? Concept of prototype is very old only actually. So concept of prototype comes when JavaScript introduced the first inheritance. Okay, previously JavaScript doesn't have a class. Okay, it needs to introduce some inheritance property so that I don't need to create each and every function all the time. Okay, if there are no prototype inheritance, you can remember that you can think about that if you don't have a prototype concept here, then you cannot have array.length, you cannot have the array.push object, you will not able to access array.pop. All things will not be there. Array.proto, array dot not proto, that's underscore proto. Okay, I didn't go with this concept actually. This is not used nowadays. That's why array.proto I didn't used. It's not proto, it's underscore proto. Okay, you can, but you cannot alter your JavaScript. What do you call user defined property, like predefined properties. Okay, clear, Ankit? Okay, but proto we should not use. It's actually slower, and nowadays we don't need to use this proto. Okay, so rather than you will be using this prototype only. Variable inside array object. Let's see. I haven't tried. Let's try it. Array dot prototype dot my var. Why can't we use is equal to test? Okay, let's do arr dot my var console dot log. Okay, test. You can we update it using existing method? Let's try whether inheritance or overloading is possible or not. So what I'll do, pop. Okay, function my pop function. Okay, what I did, I have added a pop. Now arr dot pop. See, pop function is excluded, but this will create this kind of issue. It's unlimited loops. You cannot. So there are internally there are many other things are linked with this. Okay, so if you do it like this, it will keep on looping. So pop function is actually taking one parameter from here and deleting all the just getting one parameter from here one by one. So if you use the pop and you try to manipulate it, so it will keep on loading because there are no logic to stop here. Yes, reserved keyword only. See, reserved keyword. I tried to invoke. What I did, I tried to override a user defined function in JavaScript. Sorry, a predefined function in JavaScript. That's why it's created the issue. Okay, so user defined function or sorry, predefined function in JavaScript, you should not change because that will create issue in your later point of also. So I can tell you how to override user defined function also. In very advanced cases, you need to override your predefined function also. Sometimes we override it, but it's not needed for your normal coding purpose. Okay, so that's why you don't need to worry about that. There are many another things you need to do before you override a predefined function in JavaScript. Even you can override the console.log also. Okay, that is also possible, but you need to be very careful when you are doing this. Okay, any more question? Any question I missed? Node.js is basically a JavaScript only. So yes, you can use this dot prototype. You should be using sometime. Okay, there are many cases where you need to invoke your own function. So that time this prototype comes handy. Okay, any other question? Anyone else having any other question? If not, then we can wrap up today's call. In which case we have to use this. I told you, right? Suppose you want to see this scenario only. So you want to have your own function to call from an ARR array. So that case you can, I have used that my array dot my feature, prototype dot my feature, right? Since I don't have the array functions definition with me, I cannot go ahead and write down the array, modify the array functions definition. So I will be invoking this using this prototype. Clear, Ankit? Okay. Anyone else having any question? Cool. So Deep, Likit, Sharad, Nayan. Okay, Likit, static and inherit. Okay, so Likit, tell me, what do you mean by static and inherit? Likit, what else we need in static and inherit? Static, I already told that it's a static keyword and static function in inheritance. Yeah, inherit is equal to extend. Okay, so what you need? You need a static function in inheritance. How do I give you that one? Let's just create a small thing. Okay, so first of all, one thing I can tell you, if I go ahead with this, the static method will be automatically inherited. Okay, it's just I'm just going to the previous model. Yes, here. So animal and things are there, right? Suppose you have a static, okay, and you have called eat. Everyone will eat. Eating. Okay, so this can be called using, I think, animal dot it. You can call it and animal, sorry, bird dot it. Both the cases it will do. Static method will get automatically inherited. Okay, if I run it now, see, I am eating, I am eating. Okay, so you don't need to do any extra thing to inherit static method. Okay, cool. Anything else? Okay, then thank you everyone. Good night. I cannot do that static variable. You can do the static. That's all will be inherited only. Just add a static now. You try it out. Whatever you are asking, try it out. Static my var is equal to 12. Bar dot my var is not static function is not quitting. I have used a function. See, 12 is coming from Bard also. So all the static will be automatically inherited, whether it's a function or variable. Okay. Okay. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining. Good night. Yeah. Good night. Bye.